Whole life insurance policy, if you put $1 in, it does like
Mm.
so many jobs. And if you use that money to use it as an investment for real estate deals, because real estate also has like multiple factors like depreciation, appreciation, cost segregation. Like it has so many jobs that it ends up multiplying that $1 doing not just $1 job, but doing like 20 like dollar jobs.
Welcome to From Dream to Legacy, the podcast where we're going to talk about inspiring stories of resilience, of ambition, and creating lasting legacy. I'm your host, Nahieli Davis, and I'm so excited that you're here. So today we have Mary Kang. She is also a part of Owners Club. It's a Pace Morby community group for entrepreneurs, business operators and owners, and real estate investors. And I had the pleasure of having Mary today, and she's going to walk us through her journey into dental academia and to real estate. She has an amazing story. So I believe that we should probably just better hear it from her. So I have a couple of questions, Mary, and let's start with your background. So, what inspired you to pursue a career in dental academia? You don't hear that very often, so I'm super curious. And what was the experience that shaped your approach into real estate investing?
Thank you so much for having me. So, what inspired my dental academia was I didn't even think I was going to teach. I was traveling all over the country doing my fellowships, like doing more and more specialties. And when I moved back to New York, there were a few faculty members that found out that I was back in New York and they called me and they were like, Mary, there's a position open right now. You need to apply for this job, like this teaching job. And I never thought I was going to teach, but they were like, this is perfect for you. You need to apply right now. So that's how I got into teaching because I had all these mentors that called me when they found that I was back in New York to come and teach. And I applied for the job and I had to give a lecture to everyone. And I thought I did horribly because I hate public speaking. And then when I heard I got the position, I was like, what in the world? And that's how my journey started in academia. So I've been teaching for like, I think I'm going into my 12th year now or something.
Wow, that's a big
So
journey.
I've been teaching for a long time now. And I thought I wanted to like become like one of the deans of the dental school
Mm.
because there's so many problems in the dental school and like nobody's fixing the problem. So I figured if you become one of the deans, maybe you can fix these problems. So that I applied to this program called the Leadership Institute, where they
Mm.
train dental faculties nationwide for 1 year to prepare us when it becomes our time to become like deans of the school. So I applied to that program and I didn't get in on the first time. I got in like several times later. And it was during that program where I learned about real estate investing because we had a dental dean that was our mentor. And on the first
Mm.
day of orientation, he was sitting like right across from me. And I said, hey, can I ask you a question? He's like, yeah, sure. And I said, what do you do as dean? And he's like, what do you mean? And I said, what's your day like, day in, day out? What do you do every day? And guess what his response was? What do you think the dental dean does like for the whole school?
Well, first of all, I applaud you for being so brave and just be bold and courageous and be like, hey, excuse me, what do you do on your day-to-day life? What does that look like? I think that's really awesome of you. But oh my goodness, I have no idea. I mean, I think you mentioned real estate, but is it what he said?
Well, it's funny that you said that because people around me heard the question I asked the dean. And during break time, they were like, Mary, how can you ask a question like that? I heard what you asked. How can you ask a question like that to the dean? And I'm like, why wouldn't I? I'm like, why wouldn't I ask this question? Like, if I want to do this, I want to know what he does.
Right.
So I said, what do you do day in, day out? And his response was fundraising.
Wow. Okay, I was not expecting that.
Yep. And when he said that, my heart just sank. And that's when I realized like why there's so many problems in the school because they're not there to solve
Mm.
problems. They're there to raise money for the school. So like I was just poking around, and I was like, oh, so do alumni, like, do they donate? And he was like, I knew the answer already. He was like,
Mhm.
no, alumni are the worst. They never donate. And in my head, I'm thinking, yeah, like I know, because I know the
Exactly.
problems in the school. He's like, they're the worst. They never donate. And then, like, because I'm thinking if you treat the students well, they do well in society, like they
Mm.
contribute back to their, that's the way I think. But he was saying, like, alumni don't donate. I said, so who's your number one donor? And he said, real estate investors. So
Interesting.
yeah, I never heard that term before. I was like, what's the real estate investor? And then he was explaining what a real estate investor was. And like during the meeting, I started getting advertisements on my phone on real estate investing. So during the
Wow.
meeting, I was scrolling through and I was like, Rich Dad Poor Dad came up and I read the synopsis. I'm like, this sounds interesting. So I ordered the book at the meeting. And when I came home from the meeting, it arrived and I couldn't put that book down. As soon as I read that book, like something shifted in my head and I said, I'm going in the wrong direction. So I pivoted. I said, I no longer want to be dean. Like all they do is fundraise, like begging for money. And I'm like, although I ended up capital raising, but
But differently, with a different purpose, I'm sure. Sounds
yeah,
interesting. So that was the moment when you realized I need to move away from this to pivot into real estate. I mean, it's very cutthroat, like very clear.
yeah. And once I make a decision, like that's it. I make my decision. So yeah.
Okay. What were the following steps after that?
So then I like found Pace Morby. So I joined Sub 2. And then I'm in the owners club now with you and Pace's team.
Mm.
So, and I joined a whole lot of like, cause I spent so much of my college, my dental tuition that I figured, I don't know anything about finances because I was in so much student loan debt and I was
Mm.
going to take out more student loans to get my PhD to become the dean. And I had no idea anything about finances or how money works. So I started educating myself on how money works. So I just joined a lot of communities and just started learning a lot about, um, yeah, how money works, taxes, and all that, real
So
estate.
isn't it fascinating? It's like education was, I mean, in a way, you continue the education just in a different industry, right? But same education. And it's always so interesting to me that how we can get into that, like more learning and deeper and deeper and deeper. So during that transition, what were the biggest challenges that you faced once, well, you were like in the middle?
Um, I so the biggest challenge for sure was like your surroundings and the people around you, because I realize they see me as Mary 1.0, but I'm like changing and I'm developing and I'm like trying to learn and be better and like do better. And your people that surround you, they see you as Mary 1.0 and they don't see me as the new version.
Mm.
And that was the hardest part because then they were saying like, because I'm a doctor, I work as a dentist, and I say I'm
Mm.
going into real estate investing, and they're like, "You're an idiot, you're stupid," and it was just like so harsh. Like some of the people closest to you, what they say to you, but I think that was the toughest part, like having the people around me not be very supportive.
And almost having people believe in you, right? Your credibility. I mean, you transition
Mm-hmm.
to into something so different that it shocks people. And I really want to talk to you about how society shapes us into they put you in a category, right? This is Mary 1.1 and how she's something else. And now since when? What's her expertise? And now she's new. How can I trust her? How can I trust her to even give me advice in real estate? So I see that even in myself, how that can be very challenging, especially when you're trying to teach, when you're trying to help, when you're trying to bring value. That's very challenging. So in terms of real estate, what is your niche? Like, what is that you're trying to accomplish?
So in real estate, ideally, I want to do triple nets and buy and hold. But right now, I'm managing a fund for a multifamily, and I invested as a just as a limited partner in some other deals. So, but my ultimate goal is to buy and hold like triple net commercial lease properties.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, you're going big.
Yeah.
I'm not ambitious, very 2.1. I love it. So when you talk about transitioning, right? You're transitioning from dental academia into real estate. Are you bringing your teaching with you? Are you trying to also teach, like health professionals about real estate investing, or it's something that you just left behind and now you're transitioning purely into real estate, capital raising, buy and holds, and things like that?
That's really interesting because I like hated public speaking. I used to get so terrified, and I feel like the universe has a way of like pushing you into like certain situations to make you stronger because I was teaching, I had to teach certain courses. Like as soon as I started the first day, they never even told me like what a course director was. They said, "You're a course director for this course." I'm like, "What's a course director? What do I do?" And they were like, "Oh, you just have to talk, like, give class every week for the rest of the year." And I'm like, "About what?" And I had to put content together. It was like the first couple of years were so tough, but I feel like the universe wanted me to go through that so that I can develop my skills. So now when I
Mm,
speak in front of people, I still don't like it, but I changed my perspective on it. Like rather than like thinking about like me and what I'm worried about, like I know I have a lot of knowledge to share. So I switched it around and said, okay, this class is for my students because my goal is to teach them something, so
mm.
that they can be a better dentist and they can treat better patients, treat the patients a lot better and do better work. So I switched that philosophy around where now, even though I don't like speaking in front of people, I've gained the courage and I've gained the skills for that. So I actually got invited from my real estate community out in New York to lecture them on whole life insurance because I also got my whole life insurance license. So I started speaking and educating people on whole life, and people just don't know how the strategy works. So I've used all my skills all these years, this past decade of teaching, that now I'm using those skills to educate like real estate investors on finances and health professionals on finances. So
That's
I feel
so
like,
extraordinary.
yeah, it's all like coming
So
together.
it's incredible how, like, I don't know if you believe in destiny, if things are premeditated, or you forge your future, right? I mean, maybe it's a combination. I don't know what your beliefs are on that, but it sounds super cool. I'm really passionate also about learning whole life insurance. Actually, have used my whole life insurance for real estate as a real estate strategy. So I want to talk about that. But first, how have you helped? Since I mean, you're doing incredible with teaching these health
Mhm.
professionals and about real estate, and I applaud you because it does take a lot of courage coming from behind the scenes to now having to stand in front of people and sharing knowledge like that. So that's very courageous. So I applaud you for that because I also do not like public speaking. Doesn't come easy to me. But as you, we remember that it's not about us, right? It really is about bringing value. It's about empowering those people that know perhaps less than us. I mean, we might have been in that situation where we don't know something and somebody sheds their own life, their own experience, their story, their journey, and suddenly we're like, wow, this changed my life. So that's something that I'm really proud of you that you're doing. So in that sense, how have you seen your what you're doing reflect on somebody's life? Like, what has that? Have you seen what you're teaching has made a difference in some people?
Well, the dental teaching for sure, because like students will text me like after they graduate saying, "Thank you so much for what you've taught me." Like they learn the basics and foundation that they're able to like implement what I've taught them. And like while they're working on patients, it reminds them of like the classes that I taught them. And then for the whole life insurance and the real estate group, like I've had people call me and asking me all these questions because they just didn't know how it works. So I'm helping them out like on their policies as well. So I'm able to provide value both in the dental field and the real estate groups and also the health professionals. Because now some of my friends are like, "Oh, what are you investing in? Like, what is all this that you're posting?" Like now they want to learn. So
Wow,
yeah,
you're killing five birds with one stone. There you go.
yeah, like they
I
said.
love that. Exactly. That's where the true value is, right? So tell me about life insurance, because not a lot of people know how you can use that like as a financial strategy. So give us a little explanation briefly about what it is and how it can be used through for investment purposes.
Yeah, so it's basically like your savings account, and you're just switching the like vehicle from a bank into a whole
Mm.
life insurance policy. And then all the money you put into your savings account, whenever you use it, it gets depleted. But in a whole life insurance policy, if you put $1 in, it does like
Mm.
so many jobs. And if you use that money to use it as an investment for real estate deals, because real estate also has like multiple factors like depreciation, appreciation, cost segregation. Like it has so many jobs that it ends up multiplying that $1 doing not just $1 job, but doing like 20 like dollar jobs. So it provides you with like a death benefit. It gives you a cash value where you can borrow against it. If you have a chronic or terminal illness in the future, let's say you get older, a lot of us have
Hmm.
old elderlies that we're taking care of. Like you need help. They need help. You have to hire help for them. So if you get sick or terminally ill, you can utilize your death benefit for yourself rather than passing it on to your beneficiaries. So it just has so many multiple functions that I feel like people don't really know how it works.
Hmm.
However, if it's not structured properly, it could be at a disadvantage, which is why it also has a bad reputation. So you
Yeah,
have to
tell me
make
more
sure.
about the risks and like the downside of that, because the upside sounds incredible, right? You're borrowing against your cash value. You're using that money to invest, to flip, to lend, to, are there any restrictions? And what is the other side of it?
Restrictions, the only restriction is that you can only borrow 90% of your cash value because it's your
Oh,
money. So you don't
okay.
have 100%, but you get 90% access to it, which is fine because that's more than
Mhm.
enough because it's doing so many other jobs for you. Um, but what was the other question?
What is the downside? Like, what is the opposite, side
Uh,
of it? Like, what is the risk, or why is it getting such bad reputation as well? The misuse, I
yeah.
guess.
If it's not structured properly, it's structured against you, meaning you don't have access to all the money that you put in because most of it is going to the death benefit. So the way that like I work with my team, so I work with Team Life 180, but when I work with them, they make sure you maximize the efficiency so you have most of the cash as your cash value, not going
Mm,
towards the death benefit. Because if you have it go towards the death benefit, you're paying all these premiums and it's going towards
hmm.
that you don't have access to it. So if it's not structured well, then yeah, it gets a bad reputation and it's not to your
Mm.
advantage. But when it is structured efficiently, oh my God, it's just like amazing.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. I mean, I've used it and I love it. Honestly, I love it. But tell me about the interest rates. Are you borrowing with high interest rates, or how does that work?
The maximum the insurance companies can charge you, depending on the company, like the one that I work with, are usually around 8%.
Mm.
And I just picked a policy out against mine, and it was 4.76. And
Mm.
it's a simple interest fixed rate. Yeah, just a simple interest. So yeah, the maximum is 8%. And what you want to do is when you use it as an investment, usually you lend it for double digit returns, right? When you're doing hard money lending or private money lending, you get like 15% back, 18% back, right? That's good because then when you pay the interest back to the insurance company for borrowing that cash, you pay the interest at like 5%. And then so you made that spread.
Correct. So you
Um,
gotta be a very do your due diligence really well and make sure that you're making more than what you're spending, correct?
yeah,
All
yeah.
right, so we covered a little bit about mindset, and I'm still like my head is turning about how you had to step out of your comfort zone, and I can totally relate with that. So, mindset, as you know, it's huge when we're trying to achieve success. When anybody's trying to achieve something, a goal, a dream, right? Um, Other than being courageous about getting to speak in public and doing those things, what are other fears or challenges that you had to overcome with your mindset? Do you have any practices that you do every day? Is it like a habit, or is it like something? I mean, I want to hear how you overcome your fears and challenges with your mindset.
So every morning when I wake up, I have like a routine. It's like a ritual routine. I go to the
Mm.
bathroom, I wash up, brush my teeth. Mel Robbins said, give yourself a high five on the mirror. I give myself a high five just to like prep you up. And then I read The Daily Stoic by Ryan
Mm,
Holiday, which is
mm.
amazing because you just have to read one page every day. He just gives you some philosophical and some wisdom just to bring you at peace. So I read that. And then I read a book depending on what I'm reading. Sometimes it's like knowledge, sometimes it's mindset, sometimes it's personal development. So I read a lot and I journal, and that's how I start all my mornings. And my dog is like right there. He knows the routine. He sits right next to me, and it's like perfect.
That's so cute. Okay, so we're gonna get a little personal, if that's okay with you. What are some limiting your biggest limiting belief? Mary's biggest limiting belief that you had to overcome in order to say, I can do this, this is my goal, and I have this, there's this one specific, or it can be three specific things that I really need to overcome. What are those limiting beliefs for you?
Man, I still have limiting beliefs, and I try to overcome them. One is like I'm always afraid I might fail, right?
Mm,
And I'm like, what if I don't fail? I mean, what if I fail? Like, what am I going to do? Like, that's always on the back of my mind. And I always try to remind myself, failures are lessons, they're not failures.
mm.
So, but it's so hard because there's ideas I have in my head that I want to do. I'm like, I have so many ideas that I want to do, but like something's like holding me back. So, I'm still working on it. I'm trying to figure out what it is. I went to a Tony Robbins event for Unleash the Power Within. I don't know if you heard
I
of that, but
love it. Yes, it's fascinating. Tell me
yeah,
more about that because I've been wanting to go actually.
it's one of the best events I've ever gone to for personal development. And I just
Yeah.
wanted to figure out what it is. And it's just like, I just can't be scared. I just need to take the leap and just do it. But, sometimes you like that security blanket. Like you like
Mm.
that like fixed income. You like that security. You like the health benefits and retirement benefits. And it's just like, God, is it really worth it? Or is it better just to like keep moving forward? So that's my
Yeah.
limiting belief that I still need to like sort of overcome.
That is so funny that you say that. This morning, I was reading the news and I was doing my own ritual. I also wake up pretty early and I was just catching up. I had a little bit time after meditation and I take an hour, full solid hour, and I had like 10 minutes left. So I went into Facebook and believe it or not, my Facebook, it really is pretty smart. It really is more about like, I always follow big entrepreneurs or people that are trying to achieve things as inspirational for me. And I read this post that someone that I admire, actually in the Community Owners Club, posted. What is stopping you from achieving your goals? And it was interesting because he said, hint, hint, it might be yourself. So I always, just as I said, I mean, you said, I think it is something that we all kind of low key struggle with. I think we are our own worst enemies, right? And it's funny how we tend to compete with, we see other people succeeding and we're always like, oh, either it can be like good for you. Of course, that's what we want to feel, right? Good for you. Sometimes we feel, a little jealousy, like how come they're doing it and I'm not? Or how come they're going faster and I'm not? What can I do? And really the answer is, well, let's look at ourselves. What am I not doing that they're doing? But it really is us, our worst enemies. And there is the thing, I don't know if you watched the movie, Bruno. No, what's the movie? It's a cartoon, but it's about this little boy that I'm not going to tell you the story because I really want you to watch it. But his name is Bruno, and Bruno is almost like that little voice in his head that tells him like you can't do this or be afraid of that or like watch out, you're going to fail or all these things. So I took it upon myself to name my ego, that little voice that is limiting me, and I call him Bruno. So I have kids, and I have in my refrigerator, I have a post-it that's like Silencio Bruno, right? Like be quiet Bruno. So we all have that. But I can tell that you're very good at, you're very disciplined and you're very good at, quieting that, little voice that's telling you like you can't, or not yet, or, you know, so that's very
Yeah.
cool. I wanted to ask you, you already said two books that you like. but I don't know if that has been Rich Dad Poor Dad, if that has been the most important book to you that has pushed you towards doing, what you want to dream about, what you want, the legacy you want to leave behind. What if it's not that? What is your favorite book about mindset or empowerment?
Yeah, Rich Dad, Poor Dad for sure. That changed my mindset completely. Another book that I really enjoyed was The Secrets of a Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker.
Yes,
So, yeah, have you read that? It's
yes,
fantastic. When I read
it's
it,
fabulous.
I went to a mastermind and they had a contest on the first day. And on the first day, I won the contest. And I was like, I
What?
won $100. I was like, oh, okay, nice. On the second day, they had another contest where they handed out packets of like sports cards. And they said, inside one of these packets, one of you are going to have the VIP card that's worth whatever it's worth, right? They said, one of you is going to have the really important card that's valuable. So everybody's opening up their card and I'm going through it and I'm like looking up at the screen, looking at my card. I'm like, holy crap. I was like, I think I have the card. And then that was on the second day. And the people sitting next to me, they were like, what the heck? Like, who are you? Like, why do you keep winning all these contests? Because I kept winning the first day and the second day. Like, I kept winning. They're like, what happened? Like, how are you winning all these things? Like, what are you doing? And I told them, I said, honestly, I just read this book called Secrets of a Millionaire Mind. Like, I just finished reading the book. And I'm like, for some reason, I think it's still in my mindset. That's why I'm winning. So everyone started ordering
That's
that book.
incredible. Isn't
Yeah.
it incredible? I love that they teach you how to do this, right? Like, I have a millionaire's mind. Isn't that it, right? It's just so
Yeah.
fascinating. I teach my kids that too, but I do it for like everything. Like, if they have a game or a tennis match or something, like I have, a winning mind. So it really, that I really do think that I don't know if it's just like programming yourself, which I guess that is the trick, but believing in your capabilities, right? And I think that when you have that self-belief, you really feel like you can go out there and conquer anything. So I love that book. That's a good
Yeah.
one. I should reread it, as a matter of fact. I have like a ton of books. I think I have like 20 books that I want to read, but I have my goals, so I will for sure read them. So, for anyone that is listening right now, what would you say there are like the three most simple things that they can do to get into alternative investing in real estate?
Alternative investing, I would say, number one, educate yourself, like learn about the different types of investments. Reading books is really helpful. Tony Robbins' new book on the holy grail of investing, that was really helpful. So
Mm,
education, you have to be around the right people because some of these opportunities is only through like people that you know and through connections. So make the right connections, get in the right room. And then the third one is just trust your gut, go with your instincts, because
I love
society
that.
tells us, yeah, society tells us, oh, save your money, put in a 401k, and then you'll retire at like 60 years old, 65, and you can enjoy life. And it's just like, no, like you should live now, like, and you have to block out what society sort of trained you.
That is a huge topic, honestly, that I wish we could explain more. If that's okay, we can. But how
Mhm.
society has conditioned us to think one way. I mean, it starts with a very simple, you have to go to college and be certain college, otherwise, you won't make it. And they teach you how to just save, and that's it, right? But nobody became a millionaire through just saving. So, what has been like the key factors of like breaking with that conditioning that society has implemented so much in ourselves?
Yeah, so one question I ask my nieces and nephews is, what's one plus one? What's one plus
Y-
one? Most people would
Two.
say two, right?
Right.
And once I got into real estate investing in this all different mindset and thinking, I learned one plus one can equal 11.
I
One
love
plus
it.
one equals 11. So it's about opening up
Wow.
your mind. And society, like, they don't teach you that. They just say one plus one is
Mm.
two. If you get this answer wrong, like, you're going to do like poorly on the test. And I was teaching this to my nieces and my nephew, and my brother got so mad at me. He was like, stop teaching them the wrong things. They're going to fail their
Wow.
math exam. And I was like,
Wow.
isn't life experiences more important than freaking, like, if the teacher said one plus one does not equal two and they say it wrong, I would contest it. And I would tell the teacher, I'd be like, no, my daughter answered correctly. One plus one equals 11,
Mhm.
and have
Yeah.
them change their mindset. Because if you stay stuck in the system, you're never going to be open minded. So you have to
Yeah.
open up your mind to accept new ways of thinking, such as one plus one equals 11, not two.
I've never heard that before. I love that it's such a creative way of thinking, right? It's definitely outside the box. And it's so crazy because we have been educated to fit in the model of, high school, college, work for a corporation, just do like that, follow the steps, the right steps, and you'll make it. But I love that nowadays there's so much more information. There's so much more leaders coming out and like Pace Morby, like saying, wait, this is not the only way. We gotta think creatively. And then that, leads to so many other possibilities. But I think it's fascinating. I've never heard of that example. I'm gonna teach my kids that 1 plus 1 is 11 for sure. Thank you for that. And wow, yeah, that opens up even more doors. I mean, you think about it, they say if you follow this path, there is this door, there is this outcome, but so not true. If you follow creatively all these different paths, then you have more options, more open doors. So, it's almost like the reverse, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible. So what is next for you? What are your goals? What are your open doors that you want to start walking into?
Yeah. I mean, I have a big idea of what I want to produce, you know.
Okay, then share
Um,
it.
yeah, I mean, I don't want to jinx it, I guess, but I do have ideas there, and I just have to push forward and not be scared for failure, and I guess just try making my own
Okay,
product. So,
give us a little hint. So it's making your own product, and I'm not going to push for an answer, but is it in terms of like a business, in terms of like, is it real estate, or is it, a combination of both? Or,
well, this one's in dentistry, so
okay.
that's my main big goal. I guess my Mount Everest, like Pace said.
Yeah, I love that. That
Yeah.
sounds very
Yeah.
ambitious.
Yeah. Short-term goals. I want to figure out how to save more on my taxes. So that's my
Okay.
short-term goal. Yeah. Because last
Okay.
year I made a big snafu. I got so excited learning about how money works that I converted my traditional funds into a Roth fund, and I got hit
Mm,
with the big tax implications. So I was like, ah, and I tried to undo the process and they said no. So for this year, my goal is to reduce my taxes. That's my short
okay.
term goal.
What about one personal goal?
Personal goal, let's see. I want to get more fit, more toned.
Yeah,
I
especially
want to get
after the
more toned.
holidays, right? A lot of
Yeah, for
eating and
sure.
yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
one. That's a good one. I have one last question, if that's okay with you. If you would have to have a dinner with someone, an important figure, whether it's in finance, in business, or just someone that you truly admire for, their personality, their achievements, it doesn't have to be finance or, business, but it can be also from the past or the present. Who would it be and why? And one question that you would ask them.
I think that would be Tony Robbins. I think he's such an amazing person, and he like genuinely cares. Like, you can tell like the energy that you feel like at UPW, like you could just feel that energy. And it's just like, I would love for him to just pick my brain and just figure out
Mm.
what's stopping me sometimes. Cause he could read you right away. And I'm just like, just let me know, like, why am I limiting myself, and figure it out. And so I would love to pick his brain on that, just
I've
to
never
analyze
met him.
me so I can, yeah.
I know a lot of people that have been to his courses or mentorships and things like that, and they all came back just like completely changed. So I guess he does have that power, huh? I don't know much about him. I know he's one of my friend. Well, he's actually the dad of one of my friends, but I'm not very. I
Mm,
used to be close. Now we're not very close. But I do admire him as well. He's a legend. I mean, he
he
has done
is.
great things and he's transforming people. And that is, as you know, one of my passions. So Tony Robbins, wow. I love that. So anything that you else that you want to share?
Um, just go for it. Follow your intuition, follow your gut. You have signs, and the universe tells you, and don't listen to society, and don't I've learned not to listen to people for their opinions and like guidance anymore. I used to always ask for people's opinions, and now I love spending time alone and just trying to listen to myself and figure out what I want and what I need. So everyone has their own personal knowing. So just trust in yourself and just follow that as
Mm.
a guidance.
That's so beautiful. I was reading Abraham Hicks. Do you know who she is?
Uh-huh.
And she said something really important that it came to me in the exact right time and right place. I was meditating and just asking for, some signs, and I did. I get the signs, but I got them mixed up. So I was like, what's happening? Which one is it, right? And I heard her saying, you got to stop asking for the answers to your husband, to your friend, to this and to that, and just listen to yourself. Going back to what you were saying earlier, your instinct, your intuition, and that's how the universe speaks to us, in my opinion. And sometimes we forget to do that. So that's definitely a great advice, Mary. I really thank you. I thank you so much for your time today. It has been so cool to talk to you. So inspiring. I love that we're both in the Owners Club. I love that we're gonna see each other more because of that. Are you heading to Squat Up?
Yeah, I'll be there for sure. Thanks so much for having me. I can't wait to see you.
Of course. And everybody who's out there and listening, thank you for spending a little time with us and listening to Mary's story. I think she's a badass, and she just gave us a lot of encouragement for someone that wants to reach their goals and dream big. So if you felt inspired, don't keep it to yourself. Go share this episode to whoever needs maybe perhaps a little bit of encouragement or a little bit of, just fresh air to just say, yes, I can. And if not, then I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much, Mary.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.